A life where you can no longer see the same person in the mirror every day. You cannot act the same. You want to put on a mask and act as if everything is okay. Nothing has changed. But deep down inside, you want to die. The many signs of depression. Feeling sad or having a depressed mood, loss of interest or pleasure in activity once enjoyed. Changes in appetite, weight loss or gain unrelated to dieting. Trouble sleeping or sleeping too much. Loss of energy or increased fatigue, increase in purposeless physical activity, feeling worthless or guilty, difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, thoughts of death or suicide. Some people act as if they have depression even when they may just be sad. Whether it's a breakup, a death of a loved one, your pet died, many things can lead to depression. But what is depression, and how is it different from sadness? Depression is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Fortunately, it is also treatable. Depression causes feelings of major sadness and/or a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function at work or at home. But being sad is not the same as having depression. The grieving process is unique to each individual and shares some of the same features of depression. Both grief and depression may involve intense sadness and withdrawal from usual activities. They are also in different and important ways. Depression can affect anyone, even a person who appears to live in relatively ideal circumstances. Someone can act as if they are the happiest person in the world outside, but dying and suicidal person on the inside. Depression is the worst thing to cause in adolescence. Many children from the age of 10 to 14 may have depression, yet none know about it and therefore not treated. A person who's shown signs of depression can explain or have the courage to tell another. It takes time for one to say, not that the person does not want to tell another, but that the brain does not let it if clinical. Sir Isaac Newton, famous English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, alchemist, theologian, and author, widely known as the most famous person to define gravity, during the period of 1692 to 1693, Newton is known to have suffered a breakdown of nervous functioning, or as opposed to depression, lasting for 8 months, as reported by Hugh Jennings. He suffered insomnia and poor digestion. In his letters, friends showing signs of irrationality. During his final years, he was claimed to have severe depression. Not known fully why, he stated in his journal that he no longer wants to live. He has lost everything. His wife, his future, and his health. He was troubled with urinary incontinence later in January 1725. On March 20th, 1726, he died. Depression is a tricky subject to discuss about. Not many fully understand depression, but many know how it is acted out or treated. Many think depression as in someone wanting to commit suicide. However, it is more complex than that. For one who's born with clinical or genetical depression, they suffer throughout their entire life until successfully diagnosed. Stated in 1892 by a woman suffered with depression, a depressed person may report multiple physical symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, or digestive problems. Physical complaints are the most common presenting problem in developing countries. According to the World Health Organization's criteria for depression, appetite often decreases, resulting in weight loss, although increased appetite and weight gain occasionally occur. Family and friends may notice agitation or lethargy. Older depressed people may have cognitive symptoms of recent onset, such as forgetfulness and a more noticeable slowing of movements. For many, alcohol can be a depressant, which slows down some of the regions of the brain, like the prefrontal and temporal cortex, negatively affecting rationality and memory. It also lowers the level of serotonin in the brain, which could potentially lead to higher chances of depressed mood. The connection between the amount of alcohol intake, level of depressed mood, and how it affects the risk of experiencing consequences with alcoholism were studied in a research done on college students. The study used 4 latent, distinct profiles of different alcohol intake and the level of depression. Mild or moderate depression in heavy or severe drinkers, other indicates consisting of social factors and individual behaviors, were also taken into consideration in the research. Research shows that the level of depression and as an emotion negatively affected the amount of risky behavior and consequences from drinking, while having an inverse relationship with protective behavioral strategies, which are behavioral actions taken by oneself for protection from the relative harm of alcohol intake. Having an elevated level of depressed mood does therefore lead to greater consequence from drinking. Social abuse, such as bullying, are defined as actions of slinging out and causing harm of vulnerable individuals. In order to capture a day-to-day observation of the relationship between the damaging effects of social abuse, the survivor's mental health and depressive mood. A study was conducted on whether individuals would have a higher level of depressed mood when exposed to daily acts of negativity behavior. The result concluded that being exposed daily to abusive behavior such as bullying has a positive relationship to depressed mood on the same day. The study has also gone beyond to compare the level of depressive mood between the victims and non-victims of daily bullying. Although victims were predicted to have a higher level of depressive mood, the results have shown otherwise, that the exposure of negative acts has led to similar levels of depressive mood, regardless of the victim's status. The results therefore have concluded that the bystanders and non-victims feel as equally depressed as the victim when being exposed to acts such as social abuse. Divergent thinking is defined as a thought process that generates creativity and ideas by exploring many possible solutions. Having a depressed mood will significantly reduce the possibility of divergent thinking, as it reduces the fluency and variety and to extent of originality of the possible ideas generated. Some depressive mood disorders might have a positive effect for creativity. Upon identifying several studies and analyzing data involving individuals with high levels of creativity, Krista Taylor was able to conclude that there is a clear positive relationship between creativity and a depressive mood. A possible reason is that having a low mood could lead to new ways of perceiving and learning from the world, but is unable to account for any certain depressive disorders. The direct relationship between creativity and depression remains unclear, but the research conducted on this correlation has shed light to that individuals who are struggling with the depressive disorder may have been seeing even higher levels of creativity than a control group, and would be close to topic of a monitor demanding the future trends of how creativity will be perceived and demanded. Depression is one of the worst disorders in the world, and should never go unnoticed. If you notice someone around you acting out of the ordinary, talk to them. Try to see how they are feeling, because the next time you see them, couldn't or could be the last. This video meant so much to me personally. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder around a year ago or so, and ever since it has majorly changed my life. I've been taking medication that's been helping, but some are not so lucky. I want this video to be taken with light and not darkness. Depression may be an awful thing in life, but I want this video to be educational, informative, and supportive. It took a lot of courage for me to make this video, but I'm so glad I did it. Depression needs to be noticed more. People need to know that it is a thing. And for people who try to make fun of it or try to cut themselves over a breakup, call it depression, shame. Don't self-diagnose. Ones with depression don't even know it is depression until recognized through an emotional take or part in their life. So for anyone watching this video that might have symptoms and they're too afraid to talk to a doctor, I just want you to know there are people around you who understand you, and it may not seem like that, but it is true. I know a lot of people do not have the courage to talk to a suicidal hotline, and I understand it, but if you want to try, on the screen there should be a US, a UK, and Canadian support helpline. So I know this is a very serious video, but I want to take this time to also thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. This is the largest milestone I have ever achieved, either on YouTube or on any other social media. I cannot believe we're already at 1,000, and I cannot wait for 1,000 more. The next goal that I'm hoping to reach is 10,000, but I'm also hoping to do a live stream sometime and an FAQ video soon. And you guys are all so amazing. I want to keep going on, but thank you all. And for now, this is Giwi, signing off.